Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing Tea Street. Today's mug says, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made, Psalms 139 and 14. Yep, I am. This morning, I'm going to jump right in. Don't skip the process of ignoring the insignificant. Yep, I said it. There are some things that just don't deserve our attention. There are some things that really distract us from the things that matter. We get distracted sometimes by the things that really don't matter, that are insignificant in our lives and in life. But we allow people and things to distract us. And when it does, it causes damage to the things that we're supposed to be doing. So today's topic, don't skip the process of ignoring the insignificant. T, how do you ignore the insignificant? Now, just because when I say insignificant, what I mean by that is it doesn't have great meaning for me. It doesn't mean that it doesn't. Good morning, Mr. Tanisha. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have significance for someone else. But just because it's significant to you doesn't make it a priority or significant for me. Yesterday, my sister and I were laughing about the fact that somebody pushes my boundaries because they think that if they keep pushing that they will wear me down. And my sister was like, clearly they don't know that you are a hell woman, and when you set your mind to something, your no is a firm no. And in fact, I usually tell people my no is a H to the no. When I give you a no, it's a no. But when I give you a yes, it's a yes. So how do you ignore the insignificant? The first thing you got to learn how to do is to set strong boundaries and prioritize what matters to you. That doesn't mean that it's not important to someone else, but that might be their priority. And for me in this season of my life, I really am laser focused on the things that God is calling me to do. And so what I have to learn is I want to do a lot of things, but just because I want to do them doesn't mean that I'm called to do everything. And so the things that are not a part of what I'm called to do in this season, I prioritize. I got to do this. That's a check. Some things I have to do because they're my responsibility. I have to make sure that my family is good. That's a responsibility. Check. I have to make sure that I show up for work. Check. I have to make sure. But when I'm tasked with some things that are not on my priority list, I set strong boundaries. And I'm okay with that. And just because you wear me down or you think you're wearing me down doesn't mean that I'm going to change my boundary. My boundary is just that it's healthy and it's mine. So that's the first thing you got to do if you want to ignore the insignificant things of life. You got to develop your attention muscle. Just like people develop the muscles of their body, we have to become disciplined and focused on how we focus our minds. Now, some folks talk about mindfulness. Me, I pray and I get centered. That's how I develop my attention muscle. But I also develop it by my ADHD brain, which is wired differently than most people's brain. My ADHD brain is easily distracted. So what I have to do is the same thing I tell my kids. I have to focus on the thing and make it the main thing for the period of time that I need it to be the main thing. Because if you're asking me to read a book and I got a million other things going on, I might read that book, but I can't tell you a thing that was in that book because I was really distracted by all the other stuff that's happening around me. And so one of the ways that I focus is that I like white noise behind me, noise that I don't have to focus on, and it allows me to focus on the thing. That's a mental muscle activity that I do to develop my attention muscle. Good morning, Miss Brown. Good morning, brother Golden. Thank you so much for coming again the other night. I appreciate you. I'm going to say that that's the hardest thing to do is to develop your attention muscle. One of the ways that I do it, I started noticing that when I would start to read my Bible, I always get tired. I don't need melatonin. All I need is to open the word at nighttime. And I'm like, so I started focusing my mind on smaller chunks in the morning when I'm fresher. That's me developing my attention muscle. Now, why is it important to ignore the insignificant things? Because when we focus too much on, we make the minor things major, we don't get to do the major things. And it takes us out of alignment with the things that are purposed for our lives. And so it's really super important that we start to remove the insignificant things of life so that we can be focused on the things that truly, truly matter in our walk. Good morning, Elder Kim. Good morning, Darlene. Good to see you guys on. That we focus on the things that are a part of our lives that we are called to do. And so when we get focused, it allows us to be sharper in the areas that matter. So when I removed all the clutter, some of the benefits of having selective focus. That means I'm focusing on everything. I'm just focusing on some things and the things that I know that I'm supposed to do. I don't drive my car in a lot of people's lanes. I'm a amazing speaker, but what I'm not is I'm not organized. So I don't go and try to organize people's events or do things like that. I'm focused on the significant and removing the focus from the insignificant. And when I learned how to be selective in where I place my priorities, where I place my time, where I place my focus. Good morning, Stephanie. Where I place those things, when I became selective, I can tell you what happened. I have increased productivity in the areas of my life that I'm called to. It lowered my stress because I was running from here to there, as the old people say, pillar to post, trying to please everybody. I'm not a people pleaser, trying to get over all that stuff. I lowered my stress and it allowed me to be more present for the things and the people that are significant. That's what ignoring the insignificant does. That's why we got to prioritize and set boundaries. We got to develop our attention muscle. Don't be easily distracted by the things that don't matter so that you can laser focus on the things that do. And the benefits of that is that you will have increased productivity, you will lower your stress levels, and you will be more present for the things and the people that matter most to us. And so I just came by to tell somebody today, whatever you do, don't skip the process of ignoring the insignificant so that you can focus on the significant. You know what? As I tell you all the time, I'm the amazing T Street, but there's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So today, ignore the insignificant and focus on the things that matter. Have an amazing day.